Boxy, congrats on your new contract.
Thank
What
you.
does it mean to be able to come back next season and continue to provide leadership on the team and with the backline?
Yeah, obviously I'm been delighted to all the work that we've done with Eric and to continue in what we've built on. I think now that we've got a bit more of a stable squad the last couple of months, we're kind of seeing what direction we can kind of go in. So I'm excited to continue to play my part in that.
What can the team take away from this last game, the reflection as the season is coming to an end?
Yeah, I think we can go to places that we've typically struggled to go to and get points, and I think put in a real team effort. Obviously the delay didn't help, but I think we managed to still come together and I think find a way to win the game. And I think defensively everyone worked their asses off, and that went a big part. And I think if we keep things tight, then we know we've got the quality to score a goal or two.
Minnesota is 5 points above the playoff line. What is the team's message with these last 4 games?
I think just one game at a time. Obviously we're delighted to be back at home. 3 points at home would be huge. I think that kind of sets us up to make sure we make the playoffs, but I think we're happy just to make it. I think it's kind of push our way, kind of chase the teams above us. But yeah, it starts with just this one game at a time mentality, I think.
How do you continue to contain the high-power offenses of other teams, including Colorado, where Navarro and Mikhailovic have scored 25 goals between the two of them?
Yeah, obviously they've done really well this season. I think it's not a one or two man show. I think we've shown at Kansas City that it takes 8, 9, 10, 11 guys to protect our Dane's goal and get the clean sheet. So I think at home it'll be the same, and I think we know that we've got the spark with our front players and also with our home crowd pushing us on.
You kind of mentioned it, our front players, Kelvin and Bongi, have built a relationship. We got Robin helping him assist. How important is it to continue to help those guys provide offensively?
Yeah, I think once we keep the ball in the front half, we need to make sure we're doing our jobs and make sure they don't get out too easy. I think we've got enough talent to look after the ball better than we have in the past, and I think with Joaquin as well thrown in the mix with obviously Robin, Calvin and Bongi, that those guys should always be a threat. So it's just about being clean on the ball and making sure we have good position.
Thoughts on the win in Kansas this past weekend?
In some senses, it's the best way to win, where you go away from home and you feel like you at certain points in the game ride your luck a little bit, and then you come out winning. We've certainly been on the other end of that a couple of times this year, so I think to be on the satisfying side of that balance was a really big thing for us. I think it showed, particularly at the end, that it was a group that was absolutely desperate to get over the line, desperate to win, and I think at this stage of the season that's what we want. We're in really good form in the context of this last 10 games and this last 10 game mini season that really reflects our group moving forward, and we've won in a variety of ways. We've won more comfortably, we've won playing in a more controlled, probably more easy on the eye from a fan's perspective way, but we've also won in a very gritty way, which we did on Saturday. And I think when you add that to the fact that it's a club that's not won there in the MLS in 9 previous outings, not picked up a point there, I think that amounts to a really satisfying day, and we'll certainly take that as a big piece of momentum as we move forward.
First shutout, I think, since the League's Cup. Talk about the collective effort defensively and how that worked.
Yeah, we didn't spend that much time defending by design, but I think particularly away from home, and what obviously wasn't easy for people at home to pick up on was the humidity there. It was very difficult for us to look, particularly after Wednesday night and the travel, to look like a really energetic, front foot, aggressive team. And I think particularly in the second half, once we ended up defending relatively low, particularly once we'd got ahead, it was very difficult, no matter how we tried to influence the level of energy, aggression, intent from the bench. We looked pretty resigned to defending from the top of our box, and I think once that's the case, and you need to defend pretty heroically, particularly against a team that is fighting for their lives down the bottom there, and we obviously did that toward the end. And I think in spite of them having a good chunk of the ball, the number of clean-cut chances, as uncomfortable as it felt, wasn't huge, and that was in part due to the team being very aggressive at the edge of the box, as I say, showing that real desperation and real will to win. And then in the moments where we needed people to stand up and be counted in front of the goal, people like Boxy and Dane and those sorts of guys were really at their very best. So I think in lots of ways it was really satisfying.
Turning the page to this Saturday, a home game, just 2 home games left, a place we haven't had as much success as we probably want this year. How do you prepare the group for Saturday, and how important is at home.
Yeah, we've got to win at home between now and the end of the year. That's the difference maker, and I've said that today. I don't normally make a point with such intent there, but I think we've done our bit against teams beneath us in the table in some really difficult circumstances, going away from home against a significantly improved St. Louis, who again are right on that line fighting for their lives. That's a really tough place to go and win. Kansas in a very similar situation, who have had a really good home record, are sort of riding the crest of a wave. Desperation for 3 points. We've gone there and won. We almost just need to do the easy bit in the MLS, or the easier bit certainly, which is put in a performance at home that means that we win a game there. And I think if we can do that over the course of the remaining two, we'll be in a really good position.
And talk just finally about the duo between Bungie and Yubo and how well they played. I think 5-6 goals in the last 3 games. Just talk about that tandem and how well.
Yeah, they've got a really good relationship. You see it off the pitch as well. I think Kelvin's brought a lot in that sense, brings a lot of energy, and I think has really helped the players at the top of the pitch gel in that sense. And Bongi is someone who I think, as much as his numbers have been relatively consistent over the course of the last couple of months, has performed really, really well as the teams started to be operating at a better level, more consistent, fuller. And I think now you're seeing him more often in his best positions. And when I say best positions, I mean not necessarily where he starts from, but where he ends up on the last line, running in behind. You've seen a very complete Bongi, I would say, someone who's defended really, really well in a position that's not necessarily his most comfortable. So we've been really happy with his performances, and fingers crossed, because if it continues, then certainly we will benefit as a team.